Hello again, this is Dr. Dilling. You have made it through your attendance verification assignments and now you're ready to start working on Chapter 1. I'm going to go through a real quick video kind of helping you see what Chapter 1 activities are going to look like and how you should proceed with finishing them all. From the home page, we're going to go to your modules. All right, you'll see the modules. I have some of my windows closed. You can open them back up. This is your frequently asked questions. But when you're done, like as you go through the chapters, you can close them as you finish. So it'll only open up what you need to do. There's again the help videos. You probably already found those if you're watching this, but this has a whole page of all the videos that I have made available for this class. We'll start with your Introduction to Planet Earth overview. It's going to give you an idea of the concepts that will be discussed in this chapter. And then you can click Next. Some of the guiding questions that you're going to want to keep an ear and eye open when you're going through your chapter to help you study for the test. All right, I'm going to show all content for this. This is going to be your actual PowerPoint for chapter 1. You'll go through this PowerPoint for the entire chapter. Make sure you take all the little clicker quizzes as they come up, and make sure you finalize this entire PowerPoint before you try to complete your chapter quiz. The chapter quizzes are timed, so the best way to handle the chapter quizzes is to study as if you were taking a quiz in an on-ground class. So if you knew in your class on ground at Edison, say Lee campus, you had a quiz for Chapter 1, you would study in such a way that when you sat down, you would not need your book or your notes, because sometimes you're not allowed to use your book or your notes. I suggest that for this class, you study just like that, because if you don't and you use your book and your notes very heavily for the chapter quizzes, when you go to take your midterm and your final exam where you are not allowed to use notes or your textbook, you'll do very poorly on the test, just because you have not studied in that way to remember everything. You're just kind of looking up the answers as you go, which will not work. Your midterm and your final together are 30% of your grade. If you fail those and get A's on everything else, you're not going to have a really good overall grade in this class. So make sure you study as if you were taking the quiz in an on-ground class where you cannot use your notes or your textbook. So we'll go to the next section. For Chapter 1, this is your Metric Lab PDF. All right, if you would print this out and work through it. It's very similar to the lab that you would complete if you were in an on-ground course. For some reason, it's not wanting to let me open it, so I'm going to click on this link up here to open the PDF directly. Let's see here, open. All right, and here's the PDF. So work through this, print it, finish all the questions. That way you have a good idea of how to answer the questions in the quiz for your metric lab. This is a graded lab. You do not need to submit this part of the lab, but you do submit the quiz portion that comes next. So I'm going to close that. Hopefully you were all able to see that because it didn't allow me to see. So next will be the metric system lab quiz. You have 45 minutes to complete this lab. There are 10 questions and it's worth 25 points. So you click Take the Quiz and you're going to go through all the questions and answer them. All right, when you're all finished at the very end, you hit Submit and it'll grade your quiz. All right, I'm going to go back to the modules and go back down to Chapter 1. Okay, so the next thing on our list would be the Chapter 1 quiz. Again, make sure you've read your chapter textbook. Make sure you've gone through the PowerPoints and reviewed your notes before you take the chapter quiz. You have 60 minutes to complete this quiz. You are allowed to have 2 attempts. The questions will be different every time you take it for those 2 attempts because it comes from a large bank, so you will not see the same questions if you take it a second time. The lowest grade of those 2 attempts will be automatically dropped. So if you're not happy with your first grade, then retake it, and whichever the grades are the highest, that'll count towards your grade. The other one will be dismissed. It won't even be counted. You may view the correct answers after the official due date. Usually I make it about a week after the due date, so that way you can study, but I don't make them too often after. I will only show those answers once I know all of the quizzes have been submitted, and so that we don't have any type of cheating or anything like that. So in chapter quizzes, there are some questions towards the end that will ask you to type an answer. Only type the letter that corresponds with the correct answer. Do not type out the entire word. Do not put the letter A with a period or anything like that. It will count it wrong. So if we go into take the quiz, it'll open up the quiz for you. It shows you 1 question at a time. You'll see here that there are 25 questions. You have 1 hour to take this quiz. So you answer a question, whatever the answer might be, and you hit next. If we were to scroll down, I'm going to show you some of these ending questions. Let's see. I'll try to find one that you have to enter the date. Here we go. So for this question, you have to enter the answer manually. Please only type, for example, if you thought the answer was A, only type A. Don't type A period Mediterranean. Just type A. Otherwise, the computer will count it incorrect. Now, if you happen to mess up and it counts it incorrect, just email me and I'll go in and adjust it and change it and everything will be okay. But please, if you would, just for the ease of not having to do things twice, just type in the letter answer. When you're all done, hit submit quiz. It'll give you your quiz grade right away. There are no further answers for me to have to grade manually, so it'll give you that grade. So go back to modules. I'm going to hit OK. All right, the last thing for chapter 1 is your lab activity. For this one, I am not set up yet in the student view for it to let me see it, but I can show you what it looks like before actually getting set up. Oh, I have it locked. Let me go this way. All right, so if you're trying to access that for the first time without using the guidelines I gave you earlier, or again, you click on assignments, you can get there the same way. Click your access code. The first time, you're going to have to enter your access code that you get from when you bought your textbook and hit next. It might ask you for your email address, student ID, some other information, and then it'll let you in. I'm going to leave student view because I have not set up my test student yet. But in the instructor view, you can see what the lab page looks like. It might look a little bit different. I am in the instructor view. I'm not quite sure. You can go calendar view versus list view, whichever way you want to have it set up. Go in. I'm going to hit student view. All right, and this is what those labs look like. It's going to continue loading. You answer the questions, all right, and hit submit for every question. And you go all the way through the lab to complete it. All right, so I'm going to close that and go back to the module. And I believe that's everything for chapter 1. So we did the introduction, the guiding questions, your PowerPoint, that first metric lab quiz, your chapter 1 quiz, and then your lab activity for chapter 1. All right. Then you'll see for the other chapters, it kind of changed. They don't have as much activities that need to be completed. You have the same guiding questions, PowerPoint, some information on plate tectonics, chapter quiz, lab activity. Chapter 3, same type of idea, except now we have a discussion in that. I'll have another video or some more information when we get a little bit closer to Chapter 3 to discuss how the discussions work. So again, if you have any questions on how to work through Chapter 1, please email me either at sdilling@edison.edu or directly through Canvas inbox. You can send me an email. I'm really good about getting back to those within usually an hour or so, but no more than 24 hours generally. And so if you have any questions on completing chapters, please give me a call or, email me. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.